so just based on like a test almost. And so there's no oral, personal component to the first passing phase of the hiring process. So right now, you only get the first three, and the county is looking to get more diversity and applicants and increase that number to 7. It's a small change, but it really will go to provide the county departments with better applicants, a broader spectrum of applicants to choose. I work with a lot of department heads every day, and that's the #1 complaint they have about the hiring process is that they don't get enough choice in who they get to select from. And this will go a long way to making that work and helping the county provide better services for the citizens. It's not really a controversial measure, hasn't had any opposition, but I think it's going to be important for the county to make the step come into the 21st century on this practice.
Why is this something that has to go back?
Because the original ordinance has a provision in it, and it's part of state law as well, that for a civil service system, any major change like this has to get voter approval. It's difficult, but it's an important change. It's kind of like an update to a computer software program. You're getting an update, a patch to fix it with the intent to kind of overhaul it in the future. So it's a first step. The second measure, Measure E, deals with the probationary periods of employees. Right now, they're just 6 months. That means you get 6 months to test out an employee to see if they can cut it and make the grade. The Civil Service Commission, there's a Civil Service Commission, will now have the authority to extend that to 12 months for all county jobs. So right now they're kind of hamstrung at just having 6 months. They wanted more. A lot of the department heads, again, there's different jobs, different classifications throughout the county. We have accountants, attorneys, just clerical staff. We have a wide variety of employment opportunities in the county, and some of them need a year to get up to speed, or a department needs a year to evaluate their performance before making them a permanent part of our county employment system. So it'll give the Civil Service Commission the opportunity to extend it to 12 months, and we think it's going to be have a positive impact again on making sure we're keeping the best employees, and again giving them more time to get up to speed, and rather than just having 6 months and having a department head make a decision at 6 months whether or not to keep them. It's sometimes not fair for the employees, so it cuts both ways. It's going to be beneficial for both the department and employees.
Quick question. Is that projected to save or increase funds?
I think in the end it'll probably save money. That's the hope is to, with all 3 of these civil service measures, to increase the efficiency of county government, making it, we're not spending resources and keeping employees who aren't doing what they should. And if we do have a permanent employee, they end up having to, if we do want to dismiss them for lack of performance, we have to go through a huge disciplinary process and costs the county a lot of money. So this way we'll get a better chance to see, if they can make the grade and if they're worthy of full-time permanent employment. And the final measure is Measure F. This is just for the civil service. And Measure F is specifically just extending the time period for which to file an appeal of a dismissal or a suspension. We think that this is also going to save the county money, because what we're finding, and I worked in disciplinary appeals for 3 years with this county council office. We're finding that a lot of appeals are lodged and a lot of expenses going into defending those appeals on the county's behalf because the limit or the timeline is so short. And if we extend it another 5 days, we're going to have a lot more appeals that get thrown out by the employee associations that don't want to spend the money also to defend an unworthy claim. So we're hoping that it'll save costs all around. Like I said, those 3 measures aren't really opposed or controversial. but they will help improve the efficiency of county government. And the final measure that I've been involved with for the last year and a half is Measure G. It involves medical marijuana dispensaries. Right now, the current ordinance situation in the county is there's nothing regulating or restricting the location of dispensaries in the unincorporated areas of the county. Measure G it's not going to prohibit marijuana use. It's not going to prohibit medical marijuana dispensaries in the county. It's only going to restrict the location, the operation, and the establishment of medical marijuana dispensaries in unincorporated Kern County. And the restrictions are that they're going to be only allowed to locate in heavy and medium industrial areas. They're going to be taken out of the commercial zoned areas, out of the residential districts, out of any other kind of zoning district in the county, solely in industrial areas. There's also, state law has a requirement that they're 600 feet away from schools. That's pretty small. 600 feet is not that big of a distance. So we're going to extend that to a mile, and not just for schools, for churches, for parks, for daycare centers. There's a lot of sensitive uses out there that children go to on a daily basis. That that's the goal, is to protect them from those dispensaries.
Would you consider adding a walkable route concept if kids are going from a home or a church to a school, or vice versa? You consider limiting that mile, or I should say extending that mile to include that potential likely route?
Yeah, the good thing about this measure is that, unlike the civil service ordinance that was passed in '56, we included a provision that you can go back and amend it or repeal it, because nothing's perfect the first time you pass it. So we could look at something like that. One of the things we took into consideration was that bus routes are usually stationed out a mile from the school, so kids who live within a mile generally have to walk. So that was one of the main considerations. That's how we got the mile. The other thing that Measure G does is it's going to decrease the concentration of dispensaries in one area. They're required to establish themselves a mile apart from each other. Right now we have 6, I think, on Chester Avenue, North Chester Avenue. It's crazy if you drive by there. One just moved from a different location to there, so they're congregating in that area. And again, they wouldn't be in that area anyways under Measure G because it's not industrial, but there's still that problem of having them all co-locate in that same area. They're required to be a mile away from each other under Measure G. There's a lot of operational restrictions. You can't have minors under the age of 18 without a parent or guardian, and the minor has to be very registered as a patient or a primary caregiver. It's really unlikely that they would be anyways, but we thought that was important to include in there. There's no smoking on the premises. That means that if one of these is established, they can't use the product on the premises, so that they don't drive from their pickup point to home, because that's illegal, no matter whether you're using it for medical or not. You're not.
I'm sorry, would this force existing businesses then to relocate to these areas that you're talking about? Or
Yeah, they would be able to. A lot of the arguments against are saying we're going to shut them all down, but the truth is they do have that opportunity. There's no guarantee that property owners going to rent to it, and there really isn't a guarantee in the current state right now. The federal government has been cracking down on these for the last 6 months and taking a strong angle, so there really is no guarantee that they can move, but they will be able to under the ordinance to relocate to those areas.
So I'm sorry, for example, the ones that are currently in existence on North Chester, if Measure G passes, they would need to close business where they are currently and relocate to this industrial.
Right.
Okay. Just make sure I understand.
One of the other things is they're not allowed to sell and distribute edible products. That's kind of been controversial because a lot of patients have said that it's the only way they can use the product. The other side of it is there's no guarantees on how that product is made. a lot of that product is not coming from the actual dispensaries. They're not making their own. They're buying it from other locations and selling it and distributing it through their stores. So there's no guarantee on how much medical marijuana is inside the edible, what the potency is, the other things that go. Yeah, there really isn't a body that tests it, and that's because of the legality of the federal law. There's not a real strong testing facility. There's a lot of people that claim that they test it, but we haven't found that to be true. And so Measure G is really, I mean, it's striking a balance between allowing limited use for those who are seriously ill, qualified patients who need access to the medicine and are able to do it under state law, and then taking away from the commercial profit type distribution centers, because that's sort of what it's become in the last 5 years. It's expanded, become a money industry, and that's the reason why the federal government's coming down hard on it right now, because they've found that more often than not, it's not the cancer patient or somebody with multiple sclerosis or somebody that has a severe illness that needs this medicine. It's recreational use under the guise of medical. So this is kind of getting to that balance, shrinking it down and putting it in a location away from sensitive uses.
What can we do to help?
I'm not asking for an endorsement. I'm just giving you guys information. If your group wants to do that, certainly you can.
Is there somebody we can contact, maybe at the county office, that's spearheading this, or?
There isn't, and that's one of the troubles that we have with these county measures. There's a lot of opposition, and it's well funded through the dispensaries. The county employees, county staff, isn't really allowed under the law to actively engage in campaign. So it's really up to third-party groups like yourself and other groups that are interested in taking out this issue. James?
So I got a question. So if G passes, it's a ban on all levels.
It's not a plan. So if I bake a brownie in my home and I'm allowed to under state law and I'm making it, it's not for me a ban. It's if I want to distribute that to another patient. It's just the storefront operations that do exist can't do it. So you can't sell or distribute edibles through a storefront operation.
Last question.
So are there the heavy and medium industrial zones checkered throughout Bakersfield, and will that affect the actual city, or is that, like you said, just the incorporated parts of the county?
It's just the unincorporated areas of the county. There's about 9,000 acres of M2, M3 industrial areas, what it's called, in the county. It's both east of the mountains and north, kind of around the airport area. It's outside of the city limits because we can't regulate it in the city. The county only has jurisdiction over the incorporated areas. So it won't affect the city, and that'll be up to the city. So thank you for the opportunity. I really appreciate it.